$1 trillion. I mean, just take a second to let that number actually sink in. It is a massive, almost incomprehensible amount of money, right? But in the world of global banking, it's the ultimate benchmark of dominance. Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to unpack exactly how one of Asia's largest banks is aiming to hit that exact, staggering number by fundamentally rewiring how it manages your money.
Today, we're diving deep into DBS Bank's incredibly aggressive strategy to double its wealth assets by the year 2030. Now, this isn't just your standard run-of-the-mill corporate projection. No, this is a fascinating case study in how the entire financial industry is racing to combine massive human capital with cutting-edge artificial intelligence. And it shows us exactly where the future of personal finance is heading.
So here's our roadmap for today. 1. The $1 trillion target. 2. Why pivot to wealth? 3. Expanding the human touch. 4. AI-powered banking. And finally, number 5, serving every customer.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the $1 trillion target, a literal wealth moonshot.
To really grasp the scale of this target, we got to look at their current trajectory. By the first quarter of 2026, DBS's wealth assets under management, or AUM, had already reached $492 billion. Their original target, that was to hit $500 billion by 2027. So they are on track to completely crush that goal more than a full year ahead of schedule. And this incredible momentum is exactly what forced them to set a new, totally mind-boggling moonshot, over $1 trillion by 2030. Think about that. It's a doubling of their massive portfolio in just a few short years.
Moving on to Section 2, why pivot to wealth? Let's talk about the macroeconomic push. You might be wondering, why is a major bank pushing so incredibly hard into wealth management right now? Well, it essentially boils down to one core macroeconomic pressure: falling interest rates. See, when rates fall, traditional banks face a really big problem because their net interest margins start to shrink. That's the difference between the interest they earn on loans and what they pay out on your deposits. It just gets squeezed. So to survive and thrive, banks like DBS have to pivot to wealth management. It gives them these lucrative, incredibly stable revenue streams based on the volume of assets they manage, rather than just relying on those unpredictable, fluctuating loan rates. And the leadership at DBS, they totally know they have the wind at their backs on this one. Just listen to Shitsu-kun, the DBS Group Head of Consumer Banking and Wealth Management. He said, "We have been seeing very good traction with clients parking more and more of their wealth with us and putting their money to work." So they aren't just pushing a rock uphill here, they're actively capitalizing on a momentum that already exists out there in the market as clients actively hunt for these kinds of services.
That brings us to Section 3, expanding the human touch, specifically their 600 hire strategy. Look, to handle $1 trillion rolling through the doors, you need an army. So DBS is executing this massive hiring strategy, bringing on 600 new frontline advisors by the year 2028. And we're talking relationship managers, investment counselors, platform engineers, the whole shebang. And the geographic focus is super strategic. They are blanketing 6 key Asian markets: Singapore, Hong Kong, mainland China, India, Indonesia, and Taiwan. Basically, they're putting boots on the ground exactly where the wealth is growing the absolute fastest.
But here's the kicker. They aren't just hiring people to sit at a laptop in the cloud. They're actually building out the physical infrastructure to match. DBS announced they are opening 18 brand new wealth centers and upgrading 36 existing ones. This is officially being called the largest physical wealth expansion by an Asian bank. And it emphasizes a really crucial takeaway for us. When you're dealing with massive personal wealth, clients still absolutely want a premier, physical, human-led space to sit down and discuss their futures.
But humans need tools, which leads us to Section 4, AI-powered banking, the technological engine.
Because let's face it, humans alone just cannot scale to $1 trillion efficiently. Enter DigiWealth. Set to launch in mid-August of 2026, this isn't just your standard boring app update. It's a generative AI-powered wealth planning platform built right into the DBS Digibank app. The whole goal here is direct empowerment. It's designed to let everyday retail customers engage in actual AI-powered conversations to help them become savvier, way more confident investors, literally right from their phones.
But this AI integration goes way, way deeper than just a chat interface. DBS is weaving what's called agentic AI, meaning AI that can actually take guided actions with specific safety guardrails in place across the entire customer journey. During onboarding, the AI drastically speeds up background screening. In advisory, it's crunching massive amounts of data to give sharper, highly personalized investment advice. And in servicing, it frees up all those human employees from the mundane, repetitive tasks, vastly improving both the employee and the customer experience.
Now, if you're wondering, okay, but does this AI strategy actually work in the real world? Well, the proof is right there in the data, a massive 20% boost. Between January and May of 2026, DBS saw a 20% increase in onboarding high net worth and ultra high net worth clients compared to the exact same time the year before. Why? Because the AI adoption just slashed the time needed for screening. It allowed these elite clients to deploy their funds much faster in what was a pretty volatile market. The AI is quite literally accelerating the speed of business.
And of course, once you get these clients on board faster, you've got to give them top-tier products to actually invest in. So DBS is rapidly expanding its ecosystem by inking these major global partnerships with financial heavyweights. We're talking Granite Asia, Hamilton Lane, JP Morgan, and Franklin Templeton. This guarantees that their sharper AI advice is paired with bespoke, world-class investment solutions that actually meet the highly specific needs of these clients.
Which brings us to our final pillar, Section 5. Serving every customer, from $100 to $1 billion.
The bank has been super explicit about this. They want to serve clients along the entire continuum of wealth. I mean, literally, from a client's first $100 to their first billion. And what they've done for the mass market retail segment is just incredible. Wealth management used to be something reserved strictly for the ultra-rich. But since 2023, DBS has assigned personal wealth planning managers to 3.8 million eligible retail customers. That is roughly 80% of all their retail customers between the ages of 18 and 68. Guys, this is a massive democratization of financial planning.
And you know what? The customers are absolutely responding. Let's look at the timeline. Back in 2023, those personal managers were aside. Fast forward to the first 4 months of 2026, and reverse inquiries, which is industry jargon for when a customer proactively calls up their bank to ask for investment help, they actually tripled compared to the year before. People clearly want this guidance, and that perfectly sets the stage for the mid-August 2026 launch of their DigiWealth AI tool, meeting this surging demand completely head-on. Now, we have to remember, DBS is not operating in a vacuum here. This is a full-blown industry arms race. Just look at their local counterpart, OCBC Bank. They've also recently rolled out AI avatars and announced their own ambitious plans to hire 600 additional relationship managers over the next 3 years. The entire banking sector is waking up to the fact that combining highly trained humans with ridiculously powerful AI is literally the only way to win the future of wealth. So that leaves us with a pretty massive, thought-provoking question to wrap up our explainer today. As these global banks race to manage trillions of dollars, the very tools they use are fundamentally shifting. Just think about your own finances for a second. When it comes to managing your financial future, will your ultimate advisor be a trusted human sitting across the desk, a highly advanced AI living right there in your pocket, or a totally seamless blend of both? It is a fascinating future to prepare for. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive today, and keep learning.